Now, look at this sketch. The first thing that we need to consider is that L1 and L2 are parallel lines. So L1 is parallel to line number 2. If that's the case, let's label this as A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. Think of this as two different buildings that are constructed in the same way. And we're going to try to use that relation to figure out angles. Now, the first thing that you need to consider is vertical angles. Angles are vertical when they share a vertex and they are in front of each other or not adjacent. So A and D would be vertical angles. Now, there's another kind of relation between angles known as alternate interior. Interior means that we're inside of the parallel lines. So interior are all the angles inside of those lines. So C, D, F, I wrote F twice. This is supposed to be an E. So E, F are all internal angles. But what we're looking for is something called alternate interior. So it means that they live inside of the parallel lines, but they're on opposite sides. So C and F would be alternate interior, just like D and E would be alternate interior. So it means that they are both inside of the parallel lines, but on opposite sides of the transversal. There's another thing to consider, and that is alternate exterior. It means that we're going to be living on the outside of the parallel line. So A, B, G, and H all are exterior angles, but we want the ones that are on opposite sides. So A and H are alternate exterior, just like B and G. And finally, we have corresponding angles. So corresponding means that if this is a building, if you're living on apartment A, you're pretty much living the same way as the person living in apartment E. You're having the same distribution, you're going to have the same kind of apartment. Just like someone living in apartment C will be living the same way as someone living in apartment G. So you are living in a corresponding apartment. And don't forget the two angles that are adjacent and just like A and B will be supplementary angle or will reach 180 degrees. So now that will be the case for those two angles. So that means that C is equal to 30 degrees. That will allow us to go from alternate interior angles, meaning X plus Y is equal to 150 degrees, and X minus 2Y will be equal to 30 degrees because they are alternate interior, this angle and this angle, just like this angle and this angle. This is a system of equations where we might need to multiply everything by -1. And that way we'll cancel the X. We'll get 3Y is equal to 120. Y is equal to 40. And now if you want to find out how much X is, we will substitute the Y. X plus 40 is equal to 150 degrees. So that means that X is 110 degrees. Anytime you want to actually make sure you found the right angle, just substitute the values here. So you would substitute 110 on the X minus 2 times 40, and that should give you 30 degrees. 110 degrees minus 80 gives you 30 degrees. So that means that we were right. And over here, you would simply write 110 plus 40 degrees, getting you 150.